first round of applause goes to them. I'm so grateful that they have put this together. I'd also like to thank the Gardner Foundation for generously and spontaneously agreeing to fund this gathering. One result will be a much more sumptuous lunch and reception for you than the bag of potato chips and soda that we usually provide. Let me just say that as well as director, I am a historian of the 18th century British Empire. And as such, I take a special interest in our proceedings today. Our symposium today highlights what I've taken to be a central mission of my tenure as director and as a historian of the 18th century, a focus on the specialness of Long Island as a historically important regional hub, one which linked through settlement, labor, and production patterns the Caribbean, Britain, and the world, all of which are linked to our relatively small offshore habitat. As such, I hope that those who are here for the first time or second time, journalists, members of historical societies, Shinnecock Council leaders, and interested members of all backgrounds in our area will think of us, the Humanities Institute, as a partner for future collaborations in bringing this kind of programming to our very diverse and wider community. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our convener, Jennifer Anderson.
Good morning and welcome everybody. It's really delightful to have so many of you here today, and a full day event. I know people are going to be coming and going and catching parts of it through the course of the day. This event really began, as so many events do, with just a glimmer of an idea. I got an email from Jenna Coughlin, who is one of our participants today, saying, you know, Professor Anderson, you don't know me, but I guess we corresponded a little bit before then. I have this idea that we should do a special issue of the Long Island History Journal because there's lots of people doing interesting new research on whaling and some important work in this area going on. And I said that's a brilliant idea, and we started putting together a group of speakers, intending that this would just be a special issue of the Long Island History Journal. I'm on the editorial board of the journal, and it's published twice a year online. And we're always looking for new content to publish. And so this seemed like a really wonderful a way to facilitate a special issue on this topic. And then when I had lined up all these authors, I realized, wouldn't it even be more fun if we could have an event and bring them together in person? And so this is the culmination of that inspiration that Jenna had. And she has been really a wonderful partner helping me put this together. The gathering that we have is particularly special, I think, because it brings together both senior scholars who've been working in this field for a very long time, as well as some more up-and-coming scholars whose work is, some of it's still in the dissertation form, and hopefully will be transformed into additional publications around this topic. Long Island history is, as Kathleen said, always more complex, more rich and more diverse than at first appearances, and the maritime component of that history is particularly important. I actually teach courses here at Stony Brook on the history of the ocean, and this room becomes our laboratory where we look at the history of Long Island's maritime past from its earliest native inhabitants who were drawn here by the maritime resources, the shellfish, the marshlands, the bounty of the sea, right up to the 19th century and the period we'll be talking a lot about today, where it became the starting point for so many journeys around the world. Long Island, as we look at it in the maritime context, suddenly becomes very connected to the rest of the world in very interesting ways, as well as to the larger ecology of our very quirky planet. So I do want to echo Kathleen's words in welcoming everyone who is here, particularly those of you who are from some of our historical organizations and museums. I am always keenly aware that this is a special occasion for us, but people who are working at the whaling museums on Long Island, they're interpreting this history all the time. So school groups and visitors, and helping to keep the knowledge vibrant, keep the energy and interest in this history very much with us. And I hope taking some of the research back to you, home to your home institutions, and be able to share it beyond the lecture hall. Okay.